Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, y'all. Let me tell y'all real quick. What is that on my eye? Okay, let me tell y'all something real quick. I am super uber excited because what was that? Thursday night? I'm gonna tell y'all who I am in a minute. Just stay tuned, right? Thursday night, I'm gonna tell y'all, my ring light went out on me. And I usually go live just about every night. I skipped last night because I just needed to take some time. But it went out on me. And I was just like, you know what? We're gonna make this happen. I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I took the spare phone and I turned on, I learned this from somebody else who was going live. It's Tiffany Montgomery. And she said she used the ring light from somebody else's phone. Look, because I was like, no excuses. Like, it's no excuses. We doing this. We going all in. Hold on, y'all. It's not as bright as my other ring light, but it's better than, let's see. Hold on. I'm finna get started for real. Hold on, y'all. Oh, that's better than, hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's better than it being off. Okay. All right, because it's much smaller. Like, it's much smaller, but apparently it has a great impact, just like you. So, good evening. Happy Sunday. I pray that you all are off to a great start. I pray that you all are well. Welcome to the Dr. JaNee Mobley channel. I am so excited that you all are here. Guess what? You could be anywhere else. You could be spending time with anybody else on their channel. You could be sitting on your couch. You could be, spending time with anybody else. But guess what? You decided to come over here and spend some time with Dr. JaNee. And first of all, I just want to say thank you. I take it not lightly that you decided to come and connect with me. So welcome to my world. If you're watching this on replay, say hi, say hello, greetings, all of that stuff, because I do like responding. I respond to all of my posts. I usually try to. If I do see them, I usually try to respond to anything that, well, not anything, because certain things I just don't respond to. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, just don't respond to. But I usually try to respond to majority of you all's comments. So just make sure you all say hello and say hey. So for those of you all who do not know me, my name is Dr. JaNee Mobley. I'm affectionately known as Dr. JaNee. And I help God-fearing women make money from their ideal all while they're working their 9 to 5, right? And what separates me from what everybody else does in the marketplace is I'm me and nobody else can be me. I bring me to what it is that I'm doing. I bring me to my brand because honestly, I am my brand, right? The other thing that separates me from everybody else is that I focus on helping my clients build themselves as they build their businesses. And we understand that if you understand foundations, right, you are the foundation of your business. So if we're talking about a home, the foundation of your home is what your home is sitting on. So you want to ensure that the foundation that your business is being built upon, which is you, is rooted and grounded in the word of God. So I help my clients focus on their mindset. I encourage you to connect with God to ensure that as you grow, that as you build your business, that you are building a business on a solid and firm foundation that is rooted and grounded in the word of God. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. That way get notified whenever I go live. If you haven't already, make sure that you hit the share button, text this to about 2 or 3 people, invite them in, would greatly appreciate it. So tonight we're going to talk about the dangers of waiting for it to be perfect before you get started. Many of the times people are waiting for perfection before they move in their idea. We don't want to mess things up. We want it to be perfectly right. And there's nothing wrong with wanting it to be right. But there are some things that if you are waiting, there is an issue that if you are waiting for perfection, how it can infect your ability to get your idea into the marketplace and make money. A lot of the times we're waiting on perfect situations, a perfect environment. But guess what? Those things do not always exist. So we have to move forward. Sometimes things happen. On Thursday, my ring light went out. But guess what? I made a commitment to going live because I understand that in order for people to know that I am the solution to their problem, that I have the solution to helping them to figure out how do they work a job, be a mama, be a wife, do all of these things and start a business and move forward with their idea. So if they don't know that I exist, guess what? They will not connect with me. So I had to make sure that I wasn't looking for nothing perfect. This background is not perfect. My household is not perfect. We have 3 small kids in our house. And guess what? It gets very exciting around here. So do not wait for perfection. Tonight, we're going to talk about the dangers of waiting for perfection before you move forward into the idea that God has given you. And if you haven't already, make sure you share this live and subscribe to my channel. So let's talk about what perfect really means. I know we probably already have an idea and already have a thought in our head, but a lot of the times I like to get a clearer understanding. The Bible tells us that in all of our getting to get understanding. And sometimes we need to understand what these words mean so that we know what we are agreeing to. So perfect, some definitions for perfect means means being entirely without fault or defect. We can stop right there because we understand that we as human beings, we are human and we are also spirit. Now the prayer is that we operate more in the spirit than we do in the natural, but to live life without fault or defect is very, very challenging to do, especially without God. So if you are waiting for your idea, and if the idea is being birthed through you, how is it going to be perfect? I always like to tell the story of cars, right? If we think about vehicles, vehicles are always put on the market every single year. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Have you ever purchased a vehicle, or you know someone who has ever purchased a vehicle? Hey, y'all, have ever purchased a vehicle and then after a while that you had the vehicle, you received this white envelope in the mail and it has in red letters, usually recall, right? And when you open up the envelope, you read the recall letter, and the recall letter says the vehicle that you purchased happens to have a recall of whatever the default is in the vehicle. Here it is that you have been driving around in this same vehicle for probably 3 or 4 years, or maybe a year. Mind you, this is something that you put your family in, you put your life into. If this is what you use for your work, you travel in this every day and you depend on it to get you to your destination and get you back home safe and sound without fault. However, they have decided to put a vehicle on the market that has challenges. Have you ever considered the fact that even when they release these cars to the showroom floors, release them to the dealers, that these vehicles have issues? And yet they still allow these vehicles to hit the market. If we look at homes, oh my gosh, homes, newly constructed homes, right? You can probably Google the countless stories of people who have purchased newly constructed homes and there are leaks in the building. There's issue with the plumbing. There's issues with this. There's issues with that. Why do you think they're always trying to sell us warranties? And then coincidentally, the warranty decides to go out within a year, or in a year or two. And the same year that the darn warranty goes out on whatever the product is, the home is, then lo and behold, there are issues going on with the house or whatever it is that you purchased. Did they bring this house to the market with the idea of perfection? Many of them probably did, but then there are a few that decided to say, you know what, we're just going to sell it anyway. You know what, let it be somebody else's problem. And I'm not saying, again, hear me well, I'm not saying take your idea. I want you to understand clearly what I'm saying. I'm not saying take your idea and knowing that it's faulted, release it to the market, knowing that you don't have all of the solution or the know-how to whatever it is that you're selling before you share it with somebody. But the message that I'm conveying to you is that you don't want to ever wait until you are entirely, or your product is entirely without fault or defect or flawless before you move forward with it. One thing that I understand is that the more we do, the more we improve. The more we take a step, the more we can take another step. The more we do in an act of faith, the more that we get clear understanding to know, and we go back and do what I like to call do and review and then do it again, which means let's implement. So we want to have a plan before we implement. Then we want to implement the plan that we have. And then once we implement the plan that we have, we go back and we assess to see if the plan or whatever it is that we implement, how effective it was. How did it work? What could have been improved? This is what you want to do with your idea. One of the things, and I'll be honest, this is something that I did with my conference. This is something I'm doing with my masterclass. If I'm looking at registration or I'm looking at outcomes, and I'm looking at it because you want to pay attention to your numbers. And if you're looking at your numbers and you're saying, okay, this is not my goal, or maybe you're getting reviews from people, because this is one of the reasons why a lot of companies are asking for reviews and testimonials, because we understand that the more testimonials, the more success stories, the more reviews that you have, the greater the likelihood your ideal client will connect with another ideal client and say, hey, I'm going to purchase this if it worked for them, right? So you want to make sure, right, that whatever results that you are looking at, you go back and assess them and then improve. You don't wait until it's without fault, because sometimes your idea of what flawless may seem or what flawless is to your ideal customer and your ideal client may mean something totally different. So let's talk about the first danger of waiting until everything is perfect before you get started with your idea. I hope you are taking notes. Hope you have a nice pen and paper, nice notebook, so that you can go ahead and start taking notes, because guess what? Dr. JaNee is a note taker. Like, I'm a major note taker. I don't even care if I've heard the same stuff over and over again. Now, honestly, since I've had kids, it's a little bit challenging, because if you're trying to rear them in line while you're taking notes, you can just get off course, right? But for the most part, Dr. JaNee loves taking notes. So danger number one, if you're waiting for perfection before you get started, number one, you'll never get started. Remember, the definition of perfect means being entirely. That means everything about you, everything about the idea, everything about your business is without fault or defect. Now, I'll be honest, I don't want anybody I don't want to get any bad reviews. It's a lot of things that I don't want. However, I also understand that in order for me to get better, there are some things that I'm going to have to hear a review about, right? There are some things that I may not get right. But guess what? Once I know about it, I'm going to improve that thing and I'm going to keep on going, right? Also, perfect, another definition of perfect means proficient, total, complete, absolute, certain, and sure. Right? So if you are waiting until you are absolutely sure before you move into it, one thing that I understand is this, is that when God gives us an idea, the idea is not for us. When we think about the ring light, somebody thought it was a great idea to create a ring light because they knew that content creators or whomever, photographers, would have a need for better lighting. And everybody didn't have the funds, nor were they going to make all of the large investments to go get these big, very professional light fixtures to put in their home for this big, huge studio. So they just said, you know what? Let me create this ring light and market it to people. So whenever God gives us an idea, it's not for us. It's for those who we have been called to serve, so that they can then have a solution to whatever problem, or have support or some type of resolve for whatever it is that they need. The idea that God has given you is so much bigger than you. It's so much larger than you. You are providing a service. You are providing a solution. And I want you to picture this. Somebody is traveling and they are in a tunnel, they're in the bushes. Let's say they don't know where they're going and they can't see where they are going. Your idea, if they're in the darkness, your idea is the light. And guess what? Light dominates darkness any day. Let me, I got to write that down. I am actually writing, y'all. This is actually one of my mantras, that I am the light, right? And my goal is to drive out darkness wherever I am. So here on YouTube, I'm driving out any darkness. If you are on my channel, there will be absolutely no darkness. This is a light, this is a darkness driving out, if that's such a thing, channel. On Instagram, I drive out darkness because I understand that I am the light. I understand that I dominate anywhere that I go. I understand that when I walk into a room, that if darkness is anywhere near, guess what? My light is going to dominate it. It's going to overpower it. God has given you in your idea that same ability. You are the solution to somebody's problem. You have the light to somebody's darkness. You have the transformation that somebody needs to hear and to see and also to experience. You have that gifting. You have that ability. You have that power. So if you wait until it's all perfect to get started, you'll never get started. And a lot of times people use perfection as an excuse as to why they don't move in their idea. That's another good one. Hold on. People use perfection as an excuse. What am I talking about? Well, okay, I got this book. Excuse me, I had this book and I want to write a book. Okay, so have you started writing a book? No, I haven't written a book. Well, I'm waiting to go to a class. Well, I'm waiting for this. Okay, well, did you write the book? Yeah, I wrote the book. Okay, when you going to publish the book? Well, I'm waiting for the perfect time. I don't have all of the answers. Okay, what are you waiting for? You looking at a woman who wrote a book while, as soon as my husband and I transitioned out of being homeless, and after I gave birth to our son. I didn't have all of the answers. I didn't know nothing about writing a book. I wish God would just cause the notebook, not the notebook, but the red paper folder that I had, that I literally started writing my book in. I didn't know nothing about writing a book, but I knew in my spirit, and I was so convicted because I knew that I had to write this book. I wasn't working. My husband was the only one working in the household. And we were literally putting the pieces back of our financial life together again, all while I was adjusting to being a new mother. Trying to balance bills, trying to figure out how we're going to pay for stuff. I didn't have all of the answers. But guess what? I wrote that book. I went from writing it in on notebook paper that was in one of those paper prong folders to then taking my phone and saying, you know what? I got a note section in my phone. Why don't I write it here? Because I was nursing our son. So I had every excuse as to why I couldn't. I wanted the perfect environment. I wanted to be perfect. Guess what? I didn't even have an idea of how I was going to pay to get the book edited. I didn't know nothing about getting it edited. So guess what? I wasn't complete. I wasn't sure. But one thing that I was sure of is that God told me to write this book. One thing that I understand is that if you are sure that God has given you the idea, you need to be even more sure that He's the same God that's going to see you through the idea. Number two, the danger of waiting for it to be perfect in order to get started. Let me tell you something. I got on here because it's kind of backwards. But no, let me write this down. It'll delay your destiny. I want you to think about this. And oh, this is so good. This is so good. I hope y'all listen. I hope y'all have shared this broadcast, right? Destiny, I want you to think of destiny is really a journey. But I want you to think of it as your first stop, right? Your ultimate destiny, right? And we understand that if you are traveling somewhere and you desire to get there, you want to get there at a decent time. You want to get there. If it says it's going to take you 2 hours, you don't want to take 20 hours. You want to do the 2 hours, maybe a little bit over, give you a little room to stop and go to the restroom, right? But if you are waiting for perfection to get started, you'll delay your destiny. If I think about the children of Israel, what was supposed to be a short journey ended up turning into decades. What was supposed to be a short destiny trip from being enslaved to the promised land, to a land flowing with much land. And whenever we hear land, we understand that land is equivalent to wealth. I heard somebody say that you can buy more buildings, but you can't, in other words, I'm gonna mess up that quote, so I ain't gonna even say that because I was about to totally jack up that quote. But I want you to understand this, right? You don't want to delay your destiny. You don't want to be like the children of Israel. Let me tell y'all something. Sometimes I get on live and there are two people here. Sometimes there is nobody here. And I have learned to embrace that because this is a part of my journey to my destiny. If I stop, then I'm going to delay. This is a part of the process. Improvement is a part of your process. There are people, I heard somebody say this, and it's so true. There are people who are not even as smart as you are, don't have an idea as even as great as yours is, but they're out there and they're making money. They're out there and they're transforming lives. Why? Because they were relentless about getting their idea out into the marketplace. They weren't waiting for perfection. They decided to say, you know what, I'm going and I'm going for it. And the Bible tells us that faith without works is dead, meaning that you just can't have one without the other. You got to have belief, you got to have surety in God, and you have to have the action and the work ethic to match up with what you are believing God for. Meaning, if I'm believing God to make $1 million in my business, then I have to have the work of a millionaire. I have to have the mindset of a millionaire. No, it doesn't mean that I have to work hard, but I got to work smart. I got to be strategic. I got to create systems. I got to create a plan and implement the plan and be relentless, even if I don't see the results that I want to see. So danger number one of waiting for perfection in order to get started is you'll never get started. How many years ago did you say you were going to start your business? How many years ago or how many times have you said, oh, I have this idea, but you haven't moved forward with the idea? That brings us to number two. It'll delay your destiny. Think about the pot of gold, and your pot of gold could be whatever it is, whatever your destiny is that lies await. But as long as you sit here and tarry, as long as you sit here and wait, as long as you sit here and wait for it to be perfect, when in reality, all you're using perfection you're using perfection as an excuse not to move forward because honestly, you're scared. And let's be honest about it. Majority of people who are waiting for perfection is that truthfully, they are scared to fail. How do I know? Because I was that person. I was that person who I didn't want people talking about me. I was scared of what people was going to think. So I wanted it to be perfect. I would hide behind the fear of being rejected by people. I was hiding behind the fear of whatever the fears were at that time. And I was disguising, right? I was disguising fear with perfection. Oh, I want it to be perfect. When in reality, you just scared of making a mistake. But here's the thing. When you go to Publix or you go to whatever store that you go to and they make a mistake, and these businesses have been around for years, and they make a mistake, they correct the mistake prayerfully. Now, I know that's usually my experience when I go to Publix, right? But there are some brands that you go to and they just don't care. But guess what? Does it stop these people from making money when they make a mistake? No. In fact, when people make a mistake, right? When these companies make a mistake and they right their wrong, it opens up opportunities for greater. So what am I saying to you? If you know you have an idea, don't hide behind fear. Don't hide behind fear through perfection. Go out there and do it. The athletes who've made the most money and have had the greatest successes have had the greatest amount of losses. The billionaires have had the greatest amount of losses ever. I truly appreciate my husband and I being homeless and pregnant, all with me having a doctorate degree, because it was the lowest that I could ever get financially. Now, mentally, I said I wasn't going no lower than that. I refused to. And what it did is it brought a fight in me that I didn't have before. It pushed me to a level that I wasn't at before. It thrusted me to a place in my mindset that I was not at before. So my encouragement to you tonight is start. Get out there and do it. Quit waiting for it to be perfect. Your destiny waits. The longer you sit here to wait to get started, the longer you wait to make your next move, the longer you are delaying your destiny. Every goal that you have is tied to you saying yes. And moving in your idea. Last point. When you the next danger of waiting to moving into your idea, if you're waiting for perfection, the last danger is it will cause discouragement. A lot of the times when we are waiting, we are standing still, right? Whenever you're waiting, you're just sitting there. And even if you are moving, you're pacing back and forth, but you're never progressing. You're never elevating. You're never advancing. And one of the things that I understand about the God that I serve, the Bible says that above all things, that he wished that I be prosperous and in good health, even as my soul prospers. When I looked up the definition of prosper, it means to advance. It means to progress. One thing that I know about God is he does not want us to remain stagnant. When you're waiting, what happens? If you wait too long, meaning like you're sitting in the same spot. Now, sometimes the Bible does tells us to wait on the Lord. But even when we are waiting on him, we have to wait in the right way. We have to wait in worship. We have to wait in praise, meaning we have to bring him in and focus our attention on him. But what happens is when people wait to move forward in their idea, they get discouraged. You find every opportunity to talk yourself out of something that you should be moving yourself into. That's good. You talking yourself out of something because the more you wait, right? The more you sit there and wait and wait and wait, the more you're going to talk yourself out of something that God is trying to thrust you into. You get discouraged because you're still waiting. You get discouraged because you don't see no results because you're still waiting. You get discouraged because a few years have gone by and you're like, dang, I could be so much further along than this. How many times have you said that to yourself? Man, I should have been further along than this. I should be farther than this. I've said it myself, but guess what? Now, one thing about me, I can't stay there. I'm one of those people, I can't stay there. Because guess what? I can't rewind the hands time. I can't go back and undo what I did. But guess what? I'm going to work with what I got right now. And who I am right now, I'm moving forward with what I have right now. But it causes discouragement. And when people get discouraged, again, you're waiting. So you stay there. And there's no movement. And just like water, when water sits still, it rots. It goes bad. It turns brown. Because it's not productive. It's not moving. But you got to move. You got to walk. You got to take that step. Whatever that step is for you, you need to take it. And I promise you, the more you take one step, because it's a step of faith, you don't have all of the answers, but you already know as a believer, God got your back. We have people out here who are straight wicked and they take steps, and guess what? It works for them. Faith without works is dead. If you don't have no belief, if you don't have no work to match your belief, it's dead. Again, it's not moving. The two have to go together. So tonight, I want you to make a decision. It's about being decisive. I want you to be decisive because, again, God does not want you to remain stagnant. He wants you to prosper. He wants you to progress. And in order for you to progress, you have to overcome trying to be perfect. The Bible says, I believe, let me make sure I say it correctly. He will perfect. So in Psalm 138 and 8, it says this: the Lord will perfect. He will perfect. He will complete. He will make sure, right? He will, where's the other one? Oh gosh. I should have. He will complete. He will make sure that which concerns me. Your idea concerns you. It concerns him because he gave it to you. So if you're relentless about giving up about it, he's going to make it complete. He's going to make it whole. But you have to submit to his will and his way and allow him to do it. So I'm at my 30 minutes. I'm a little bit over, but I wanted to come in and just really share that with you all. If this video has helped you in any way, make sure that you drop a comment and say, you know what, Dr. JaNee, you were speaking to me. You were speaking to everything that I was saying. Thank you so much for sharing this. And if there are any more tips that you need in alignment with this topic, drop it in the comments, because guess what? I may just cover your topic next time. Also, make sure, if you haven't already, I did not share this with you all, but on Tuesday, I am hosting my free masterclass. If you don't know the 3 areas that you must be clear on in order to make money from your idea, make sure you register for my free masterclass. The link is located in the description. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Again, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you all. And remember to know your worth. Good night, y'all. Mwah. Bye.